Neama Rahmani is a former federal prosecutor and the president of West Coast Trial Lawyers. He joins us now. Neama, great to see you on the program. What stood out to you most from today's hearing?
Well, today's hearing in the New York hush money case, of course, was David Pecker's cross-examination. But obviously, I think all eyes were on the U.S. Supreme Court and the oral arguments. And it was clear there, I think the justices were going to reject Trump's absolute immunity argument. It was overreaching on the part of his lawyers, frankly. And I think they lost credibility, just like they lost credibility in the trial court when they argued just 2 days ago that Trump didn't violate the gag order. So I think it's clear that the justices are going to send the case back down to the lower courts to determine whether Trump's conduct related to the Capitol riots and the events leading up to January 6th and the fake elector scheme, were they official acts, which would be immune, or personal ones, which would be not.
And going back to New York, during cross-examination, the defense team brought up the fact that Michael Cohen wasn't working as part of the Trump campaign. Trump defense attorney Emil Bove asked David Pecker, quote, Cohen was always clear with you that he was not working with the campaign? And David Pecker responded, yes. So, Neama, that's central to the defense's case, isn't it, that Cohen was working on his own?
Well, it's central for two reasons. One, it distances Trump from the conspiracy itself. He's arguing, of course, he had nothing to do with any of this. And this was Cohen, and to the extent that they're false business records, that was something that his accountant did, and that it was booked as a legal expense. And of course, it's important that Cohen wasn't related to the campaign because we know that under New York law, false business records, they're only a misdemeanor unless they can be proven to be in furtherance of or to cover up another crime. And the state is arguing that this was an unlawful campaign finance violation or an attempt to mislead the voters during the 2016 election. So if Cohen had nothing to do with the campaign, then maybe even if the prosecution is successful, these are just misdemeanors, which would be a slap on the wrist.
Let's talk about the gag order. Judge Merchan gave us an update today saying he plans to consider 4 new alleged violations brought to his attention by the prosecution. What more can you share about that?
Chris, I'm smiling because Trump has seemingly violated the gag order at every possible turn. And whether it's 4 or 40, the question isn't really did Trump violate the order, but what is Judge Merchan actually going to do about it? Is he going to actually put some teeth into that order, or are we going to talk about nominal fines like Judge Engeron, the judge in the New York civil fraud case? He fined Trump $10,000. Well, that's not going to change Donald Trump's behavior. That's walking around money for him. So is there going to be a more serious sanctions, or are we talking about these fines that really won't amount to much in this case?
Well, yeah, let's expand on that a little more. What other options can the judge take at this point?
Well, the most extreme option would be holding Donald Trump in criminal contempt and jailing him. Now, I think that's very unlikely. I don't think anyone has the stomach to really take the unprecedented step of jailing a former president. There would be political unrest, maybe even civil riots. Now, short of that, what can the judge do? Maybe give adverse jury instructions or do other things related to the case itself that make it more difficult for Trump to win, and just instruct the jurors that Trump is in violation of a court order. That type of adverse instruction would be damaging to the defense.
Yeah, the $1,000 fine per violation probably isn't going to too much, right? Hey, before you go, what should we be looking out for when court tomorrow resumes?
The cross-examination of the witnesses is going to be key. And obviously we know we're not there yet, but Michael Cohen is a key witness for the state. But obviously he's a convicted felon and an admitted liar. Stormy Daniels, of course, has previously denied having the affair. So, David Pecker is the state's first witness. And personally, you're talking about someone who's an alleged co-conspirator, at least according to the prosecution's opening statement, and testifying under a grant of immunity. So I expect the cross-examination to continue to be more aggressive and for the defense to argue that this is someone who's lying to save himself or to sell more magazines.
All right, Neama Rahmani, former federal prosecutor. Neama, thank you for your time tonight. We do appreciate it.